So, good evening once more, and thank you so much for joining uh, this masterclass. So, I'll be your host, Sienna Simon. I'll also take you through this particular session. I hope you can be able to hear me properly. I hope you can be able to hear me properly. I know there are those who have not yet joined. So, what we're going to do as we wait for the others to join, we will just be doing a brief introduction as we wait for the rest. I think we have about, let me just see. So we have about four more people who have not yet joined. So we are going to start in a few. So I think I can just start with the introductions. I hope you're okay. Normally, in these master classes, of course, it's going to be a very practical session. If you have your laptop ready with you, and maybe you have an extra screen, you can do the practice as we move on together. But in case you do not have any laptop or any Excel to work with, it is okay. Okay, you can just follow through. We are recording the session, and then we're going to send you these videos privately, okay, so that you can be able to practice later on. So let me start with the introduction as we wait for the others to join. So my name is Asiana Simon. The lead consultant and lead trainer, senior consultant and lead trainer at Doc and Data. It is good maybe I briefly talk about Doc and Data and what it does. So Doc and Data is a company. It's a training firm, a training and consultancy firm that deals with matters to do with documents and data. So documents management and data management. So if your organization needs somebody to ensure that documentations are in order or the data that you use are in order, then that is what we do. And then on the other side, we do training on the same areas. So thank you so much for actually registering for this event. We don't take it for granted. We really appreciate it. So in this session, feel free to ask any question that you feel is a burning question. Ask question, answer questions. I mean, let us make it as engaging as possible. We are not many for these. I think we're about 15 for this entire masterclass. So make sure you ask any questions that you have. Feel free. So we are going to have it as engaging as possible. Okay. Now, to start us off, let me see the pattern. So we normally have a pattern on how we do the introductions. So one, normally I give people an opportunity to introduce themselves, but if you feel you're not comfortable doing the introduction, you can just use the text box and you type your name, your details. I mean, you do the introduction on the chat box. So it is not a must you speak out. The other thing is now the structure on how to introduce yourself, because it is going also to help me as I go through this particular session. I'll be able to understand the key areas to talk about or to put more emphasis on. So just introduce yourself, your name, the name that you prefer people calling you, your professional background, what you do. Then talk about your interaction or your experience with Excel and Power BI. So if you've never, for example, interacted with Power BI, so you can say, no, I've never interacted with Power BI, okay? So just tell us your experience. How many years have you, I mean, is it something that you use on a daily basis? I mean, what is your experience? And then lastly, give me your expectations. What would you expect in such a masterclass. So if you are to join a full program of Excel, what is it that you'd want to accomplish? Is it just having the general knowledge in Excel? Is it data analytics? Do you want to get into the space of data science? I mean, do you want to improve your visualization skills, dashboards? I mean, what is it that you want to achieve? So this now will help me to understand what you need, and I can be able to take us through very well when it comes to matching your expectations. So I think I can start. So that is the pattern: your name. So 4 things: your name, professional background, your experience with the tools, and then your expectations. Those 4. Okay. So I'm going to start. So I'm just going to open the list. So if I call your name and you're okay, you can turn on your microphone and then you start. If you're not, you can use the chat box and you pass it, or maybe use that for the introduction. Okay. Again, if you have a laptop and it has Excel, you can follow through as we will be working on some things. We will have to test these programs. Excel, Power BI, we'll have to test them practically to see what is what. Okay, so that, remember, this is the roadmap. So we want to understand which direction to take in terms of the skill set, in terms of the functionality of this particular product. Actually, there are no slides. I'm not going to do slides. We're going to do it practically, okay, as it is a masterclass. So back to the introduction: your name, background professionally, your experience with the tools, and then your expectations. Okay. So on the list here, I can see I have Edwin Chepto. If you are there, you can start with the introduction. So that this is your opportunity. Thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening to Edwin.
I'm Edwin Chepto. Am I audible?
Yes, you're very, very audible. I can hear you.
I'm Edwin Chepto. My background is computer science, and I have a quite experience. I'm doing data science, masters in data science. And my expectation on this training, actually, I want to explore more about BI and advanced Excel. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, analyzing data that data.
Or analysis of data.
Getting more insights on the huge data sets.
On the what?
I'm saying getting some kind of insights on the huge data sets.
On working with huge data sets.
I work at a company that involves a very huge data sets.
Yeah. Also, working with big data or large data sets, you want to see how to go about it.
Exploration of those data sets. And I also the use of AI on those volumes of data.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Edwin. I think that will be sorted out. We'll be able to cover that. At least you've mentioned something to do with AI, so I'll make sure I have that in the discussion. And also feel free, in case you have any information, share so that we can discuss it. Remember, in a masterclass, the assumption is not that the facilitator knows it all. No. We want to have a discussion. Sometimes you might find you have something new that has just come in and you can share, and it will be of help. So thank you for that, Edwin. I'll move to Jonathan. So as we wait for the rest to join, Jonathan, feel free.
My name is Jonathan Langi. I'm a CPA accountant.
Yes.
And I've worked for over 30 years in government. I'm doing a lot with the Excel, but my knowledge is restricted to the Excel that is there, the Microsoft Excel. So
yes.
Analytics. My daughter.
Yes. Sorry, I think I've lost you for some minutes there.
To see what she can specialize on. So when I saw this advert, I said I need to have a look at it.
Yeah.
Explore and be able to advise her as a parent on whether data science or what else she could go into. She was telling me the other day that she was interested with data science.
Yeah.
So I thought this could be.
Yes, this could be a. I've lost you a bit. Yes. You are saying you are saying something on data science. This could be something on data science. Yes, Jonathan. I don't know if you can hear me. I think maybe internet issue, but it's okay. At least I've gotten him correctly. Matters to do with the analytics using the software. Okay. Jonathan, you can hear? We lost you for a bit there.
Sorry, I got lost. I got disconnected. I'm in the village.
Oh, it's okay.
So my networks are not very stable.
It's okay.
So I was saying that my daughter is a BBIT graduate, and we were talking the other day about something she could do in advance.
Okay.
And she had mentioned about data science.
Okay.
So when I saw this advert, I said I need to be part of it so that I can give a good parental advice to her on the next course of action for her studies. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm expecting to learn new things to help me in my work, but also to see how I can advise others on the best option in terms of data.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. I think, yes, today we are going to look at the different programs, because there's so many terminologies out here, data science, data engineer. There are so many terminologies. So it is good to, we explore all these. We explore all these. My team on the other side, I hope you're adding people. You can add those who are joining us. Please check. So, so we are going to make sure we cover all that, whether it is data science, data analysis, data analytics. So we will look at all these. We'll have this in-depth discussion on what is what you need to do when, and then we'll test what now we have intended to test today, that is Excel and Power BI. Okay, so that if you want to now explore it, now you can see now where do I start. So thank you for that, Jonathan. Let me move to Naom. I don't know if it is Naomi or it's Naom. Kemuma, you can, if you okay, you can introduce yourself. So if you're in a position, if you're not in a position to introduce, you can use the chat box and just do your introduction. So feel free to do that. Okay. So I think maybe she'll use that. Uh, Let me go to Philip Pocheng. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm not in a position to talk much, but I hope you can hear me.
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but a bit low. Yes.
All right. And I'm on the road.
Yes. Oh, you're on the road.
But
Okay, okay. Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, I also have interest in data analytics,
Mhm.
actually the whole spectrum from
Mhm.
Excel, which has been with us for the last 40 years,
Mhm.
to modern data analytics tools, especially Microsoft ones, ranging from uh, Power
Mhm.
Pivot tables, Power
Mhm.
Pivot,
Yeah.
uh, Microsoft Power Query, Power BI,
Mhm.
Microsoft Fabric,
Mhm.
and how they interrelate,
Mhm.
because that is actually the future. But
Yes.
again,
Mhm.
including data analysis expressions,
Mhm.
but also wanted to really see what are your thoughts
Mhm.
as also an expert in this in on the interaction that is being brought
Mhm.
by the AI. Somebody had mentioned on that
Mhm.
because my question is, or my thinking, I've been wondering, is there
Mhm.
really a need to keep learning the hard things?
Mhm.
Because AI is there and you simply prompt it and it gives you the answer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would really want to pick your thoughts on that.
Mhm.
And but this is in no way meant to discourage anybody because
Mhm.
even you need to know what to ask
Yes, yes,
AI
exactly.
to get the right answer.
Yes, yes.
So I also, if you allow me, I would like to mention that I also run a blog called
Yeah.
Modern Data Analytics
Yes, yes.
for finance professionals.
Yes, yes.
That's an open source. It's a free
Mm.
open source for learning, for sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
So any of you guys here who are not on the platform yet, you can Simon can allow you to join. You
Yeah.
can share the link at some
Yes,
point,
yes, yes.
and we learn together.
Very true.
So thank you, Simon,
Thank
for
you.
allowing us to also share knowledge and see what you hear, what you have to offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much for that. Actually, there's a question. Today, I was having a class in Kilimani. I was training somebody on Power BI, and she asked me, by the way, now that we have I mean, do I need to learn these things? I can just ask AI, and so I told them, no. I mean, you cannot ask what you don't know. You cannot ask what you don't know. So even if you're asking a question, at least you need to have some base, so that when you're asking, even if the results are going to be out, you can understand the results. Okay. So as much as we are embracing AI, which is good, it makes work better. Okay. So AI is not supposed, it's not here to replace us, it's here to make our work even better. So um, I know I'll reach to this, and maybe we'll talk about AI, and maybe we'll be able to discuss it. Philip, if you'll have an opportunity, maybe I can give you an opportunity to say something. There's that WhatsApp group. I think I'm also in that group. I'm also in that group. It's an interesting group. People normally share information on data analytics. So if you'll be in a position, you can share the link, and people can be able to join that WhatsApp group. So thank you for that. Let me see if I've skipped anyone, because now I want us to start. So Susan, I think Susan Oko, I think I've reached to you. If you're in a position, you can just do a brief introduction.
Hey people, good evening.
Good evening too.
So my name is Susan Muma. Um, Currently I'm a financial accountant
Mhm.
and I've been in this field for like 6 years now. So and I'm a graduate of finance and very passionate about finance. So my intention to register for this course is to really upskill, because I'm looking forward into getting into investment analysis. And I think data visualization is part and parcel of it.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in visualization platforms, and also platforms that will enable me to, look into financial modeling, anything that will really perfect me into, analyzing my data and, presentation as well. So that's why I'm here today, and I'm very expectant of, learning and relearning and just gaining the knowledge. Yeah.
Okay.
So just a bit of advice to Jonathan. I think the best thing to do is to just join with your daughter, so then she can get the insights as well.
Oh, you learn together as
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Susan, thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. She's a bit far.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll send the recording.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that. So thank you, Susan, for that. I think you've mentioned a very interesting thing, that is financial modeling. So actually today, the practical side that I wanted to demonstrate between Excel and Power BI, we'll touch more on modeling and a bit of visualization. I hope we're going to be I hope we'll be patient. Even if we go for 2 hours, we'll be patient enough. We go through these things, and we can also criticize them as we move forward. So we'll touch a bit on financial modeling today, from getting data to creating connections to data. We're going to get into that practically for today. Not maybe too deep, but just to help us to understand which tool is better at what for that. Let me see if, so I'm going to take not more than 10 more minutes, at least to give everybody an opportunity. Romanas, Kemba, if you can hear me.
Yes, good evening, home. I'm an accountant.
Yes.
And I've interacted with Excel, but I need to more advanced level for reporting and summarizing my data. So I expect at least at the end of the day to be able to do my reporting such a easy way. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And there's also, I've not directed with the BI.
Yeah, Power BI.
Yes. I to know still more about it.
So it is something new for you,
yes?
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think that one noted. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to assume we are starting from scratch. So even if you know a bit of Power BI, you'll allow us to just start from the lowest point up to now to the analytical bit of it. So that at least those who are here also can be able to understand what is the power vested in this tool. Do I need now to shift to Power BI? Do I still need to stick to Excel? Things like that. So I think that is important. Maybe on the list, maybe somebody else was not spoken. Joshua, I don't know if you're in a position to say something before we start. You can also use the chat box in case you're not in a position. Okay. Nancy, you've joined. Nancy, I don't know if you're in a position to say something.
Hi, Simon.
Hello, Nancy.
Yeah, sorry, my internet keeps dropping. That's why I had to rejoin again. But I am so glad to be here. I am a finance professional. Currently, in the practicing more of grant management. So I hope to learn a lot more here, especially in terms of using Mozilla.
Okay. Interestingly, actually, most of the people that have interacted of late are into project management, M&D, who are really interested in Power BI. So it is something that once you understand those hidden tricks, they can really come in handy. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So thank you, Nancy, for that. The last person I see here, James. I don't know if you are in a position to say something, an introduction.
Yes, thank you. CPA Resa James. For me, I'm an internal auditor. Of course, we interact with Excel to analyze the data. So it's for continuous learning. That's why I'm here, also to gain some insight and knowledge. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, CPA James. Thank you for that. Learning does not stop. We continuously learn every day. So every day we have an opportunity to share skills, to understand something that is important. That is very, very important. So I think I have given everybody an opportunity to say something. I had started by introducing myself. I said my background is more of administration, finance, and data. So I combined those three areas. But of late, I found myself so much diving into data. So as much as I teach and train finance, I also teach and train and also consult on matters to do with data. So I've worked on a number of projects. I've trained people across Africa, different countries. So I've met people from different departments, public, private, and so there's a lot that I've picked from people in terms of what they are practicing, what they are going through. So those are the insights that I want us to share today as we do this discussion. Okay, so I'm going to start, and even as I'm going to be doing the discussion, I'll keep in mind what we have talked about, what we have done as part of introduction, the expectations. I've been writing them down so that we have something meaningful. Okay, so let me share my PowerPoint. As I said, the PowerPoint is just to do a brief introduction, but we will not really have any slides per se. I would want us to just do like make it a practical kind of training. Yeah? So today's just to align the focus is that today we are looking at Excel and Power BI. So we want to see what is what contains what, which tools are in where, and if you want to take action, you want to pursue these programs. First of all, do you really need them, or it is just the hype that is there? Sometimes you might hear of Excel, it is good, but maybe you don't really need it. So we need to know if we need these tools. Then we need to see which one does what, where do we start from, and how do we go. So it's important for us to do that. So I'm going to make it a bit more practical so that we talk about it. So I don't have anything much, but just to, I always like when every time I start my presentation, I have these image here. So basically it is an image, and it is actually our purpose, of course, as a company, as a training firm, and even for me as an individual. This is what I always intend, to ensure that we are able to cross to the other, or to move to the next level, to make sure that whatever knowledge we have, we can refine it or make it better so that we can improve on what we already know, or we can add new skills. So this is our intention to move to the other, to move professionals to the other level. Okay, so you can see our core values: integrity, quality, creativity. That is what we stand for. Integrity, making sure we keep to our promise. Quality, ensuring up to standard. Creativity, making sure we come up with solutions to the modern times. So I think now I can start. I want to start with Excel. And for this, I'll open a new blank workbook. Okay, I'll just open a new blank workbook. And then we start from there. Okay, I talk about Excel. What is Excel? The history, where it came from. Actually, we are celebrating. Excel is now 40 years. So there was a joke in the community, in the data analytics community, that it is. I think I saw it somewhere, that it is Excel's birthday. So it is important we also look at where this tool came from, how it started, and such. So let me open a clean Excel file, and then I explain that. Okay. So I'm going to share my entire screen so that you can see the cursor. In case I get stuck or my video is not moving, let me know so that we can proceed. So now let me start from very far. So like any computer application program, remember when you talk about software, computer softwares, we normally have the core software, that is the operating system, and then we have the application softwares. Actually, that's why nowadays we call them apps, applications. So apps, what they do is they help us to achieve a specific function. For example, Excel is a spreadsheet. So there are different categories of applications. There are those that are spreadsheets. There are those that are databases. There are those that are meant for writing reports like Word, text-based document applications. So we have a number of applications. And Excel is an example of an application which is a spreadsheet. And when you talk about a spreadsheet, you're talking about a tool that is able to do computations. In simple terms, it's able to do computations. So there are others that are out there. Okay, there are other tools that are out there, and of late I've seen so many organizations were trying to come up with new tools that somehow mimic or somehow work almost the same as Excel. For example, Google Worksheets. Okay, they almost appear almost the same as Excel. So the formulas might be different, but some of them almost look the same. Okay, or WPS softwares, they almost look like Excel. But Excel somehow, because it is somehow the founding spreadsheet, there's a lot that it offers. So of course, there's that flexibility, there's that versatility. It has been there in the market. Actually, if you look at statistics, about 1.2 billion people use Excel currently. It is the most used application right now when it comes to matters to do with data. And then if you look at the interface is easy to work with. Excel was founded back in 1984. So that's about 40 years. So it has been in the market for about 40 years. So there has been a lot of improvements over time. Okay. So since the 80s there, when companies were starting to use automation, Excel was there. Okay. So it's a very powerful tool. And then of course, as a company, Microsoft, they have been able to learn so much, and they always keep on improving. That's why you'll hear right now we're in Excel 2024. We had 2021, we had 2019, we had 2016. So after every 2 years, they always try to improve this particular software. Of course, to improve and not just to remove things, and so they always try to improve the software, which is a good thing. is good because there are things, for example, 3 years ago you could not do with Excel, especially on data cleaning. There are things you could not do with Excel some 2-3 years ago, which you can be able to do them right now, very, very easy and very, very fast. So that continuous improvement is what makes it attractive to people even up to now. Okay, people are able to stick with Excel. Okay, now if you look at the interface, because I want to look at the interface. So this is a blank workbook. Let me open it. Create a new blank workbook. So this is a blank Excel workbook. So for those who have, I'm sure from the introductions I've had, everybody has interacted with Excel at some point. Okay, so at least this is not new. This is something you have opened before. Okay, I hope you understand that this is the ribbon. When I was training the international programs, the ICDL and the MOS, it is important even for the terminologies to master the terminologies. So we normally have the ribbon at the title bar at the top. So the title bar is where you can see here it is written book 1. So that is the title bar. So any window must have a title. So that is the title bar or the title. And then here we have the ribbon where you see the home, insert, draw, and then we have some commands here. So all this we call it the ribbon. And then under each ribbon, so on the ribbon, we have what? Tabs. Home tab, insert tab, draw, layout. And of course, you can always customize these particular tabs. You can add or remove a few things from the tab. Then, for example, if you click on Home tab, here we have groups. And you can see there's a fine line here. Okay. So this is a group clipboard because it is a combination. We call it a group because it is a combination of commands. Okay. So these are very specific commands within the clipboard group. Within the font group, again, another group of commands. In alignment, another group of commands. So it is important to understand even the terminologies that are used. Because these are just but international best practices to understand the key simple terminologies. Now, another important area of Excel is this place here. Here. I don't know if you can see my screen, where you have FX. That is, we call it the formula bar. Okay? This one is the name box, and this one is the formula bar. Okay? So, the formula bar, and I always like to insist this to participants who are in my training sessions. The formula bar will show you what is contained in a given cell. Okay? The formula bar will show you what is contained in a given cell. I've seen situations whereby somebody receives a document that is blank, and they end up thinking the document is blank. Yet it is not blank. Like right now, this document, you might think it is blank, but it is not blank. Okay? Because we can format this document. Okay? You can actually format this document to show like there's nothing. Okay? So that brings me to something called formatting. Formatting is just enhancing or changing the appearance of a given cell. Okay? So the formula bar is a very important area when it comes to working with Excel. So anytime you click on a cell, make sure you check the what? The formula bar. Because that is where, let's say for example, you're doing functions, you're doing calculations, that is where you even follow through when it comes to doing your computations. Okay? So the formula bar is important. Also the name box here, where it is written B2. So name box will show you the name, or will tell you the name of the cell. And again, you can always customize that. You can always customize that and give a cell a different name altogether. Okay. So just to talk about the interface, I'm just talking about the interface. One of the things that is appealing to Excel is that it has a very simplified interface. Okay. It has a very simple interface. It is very easy to understand the commands. It is very easy to use this particular command. So I'm talking like this because I want, even if somebody has never used this particular tool, to have at least an idea of what it is. As I've said, you can always customize the ribbon. You can add new ribbons and add the commands there. Okay. You can see on my tabs, I have the developers tab here. I'm going to talk about it in a few, and then I have the Power Pivot tab. So I have two tabs that are very unique. Sometimes you may or may not have them. So the Power Pivot and the developer tab. So they're very important tabs that I'm going to talk about as I move forward. Now, so Excel sometimes is normally underused or underutilized by so many professions. Most people know how to key in information, maybe do some 2-3 reports, do some computation, some VLOOKUP, and that's it. Which is okay, which is very much okay. But there's a lot that you can be able to achieve with Excel. Okay, there's a lot you can be able to achieve with Excel. One of the things that I discovered when I was doing the trainings and consultancies is the add-ins that Excel has. When I say add-ins, or let me use a simple term, there are some tools that are attached to Excel. Okay, there are some other small softwares, very powerful, that are attached to Excel that make it even more powerful. Okay, so with the commands that we have here, yes, we can be able to do a lot. We can, clean the data briefly. We can remove a few things here and there. But with these other tools, which we call add-ins, they can improve how we do things. So number one, we have a tool that can help you to clean your data. Okay, clean your data. And even before I go to that tool, there's something I need to note. Excel is a tool that can also be used for data collection. Okay, many tools you can't use them for data collection, but Excel you can configure it in a way that you can share it with people, and then they key in the data. You regulate how that data is going to be captured, and then you get the data and you analyze it. So Excel, as much as many people perceive it as a tool for analysis, you can configure it and use it for data collection. Okay. So I was talking about the tool. So once you've collected the data, you can now do what? You can now clean the data. So in data analytics, we normally start by saying it is a process. So we say we collect the data, then we prepare the data. So we clean it. We transform some of the dirty places or the dirty data that we have. Maybe we have unnecessary columns or unnecessary records. So we remove them or we add new ones. So there's something we call data transformation. So after data collection, the next thing that you need to do is to transform the data. Or in other words, you can say to prepare the data. Okay, so there are so many other terminologies, data wrangling, data cleaning. So all these terminologies, what they are saying is before you do your analysis, you have to first of all do what? You have to make your data ready for analysis. Okay, so the step number one, you collect the data. You can use other tools to collect the data. You can use Excel. Then number two, you need to prepare the data for analysis or for visualization or other steps. Okay, so when you are preparing the data, what do you do? So you can remove. So normally you have three types. There's something we call constructive. You can create new kind of data, constructive transformation. You can build new data from what is existing. For example, if you have collected data and the data is concerning the ages, the dates of birth of individuals. Okay, you've asked somebody their name, and then you've asked them their date of birth, together with other details. So this date of birth, you can transform it to age. Okay, you can create a new line of data containing what? Age. Okay, because that what you need to do is to take the current date less the the date of birth, and that will give you the age of an individual. So the age of the individual will be a new line of what? A new line of data. So we call that constructive. You create new data. So something we are going to try today in brief, so that we can see what this is. And then also you can try later on your own. I've already shared the files. I'm going to share again the link. So data collection, then data transformation. We prepare the data. Very important. Actually, if you fail to prepare your data, that's why sometimes you see people with huge data sets, but they're not doing anything with it. Or if you ask them now, can you now present this data or visualize, it becomes very difficult. Okay, so it is because maybe you have skipped the data transformation part. Okay, data transformation part, that is very important. Then after you have transformed data, you've made it interesting. So the next step is to model and visualize the data. Okay, to model and visualize the data. So modeling, I'll talk about it. How do you make sure that different data that you've collected, there's a relationship between those data. Okay. For example, you have registered farmers. Let's say you have farmers. You're distributing farmers to. You're distributing fertilizers to farmers. So what you do, you register farmers. You have their names, their details, their ID. So you have a register for the farmers. Then you have a register for the fertilizer, the different types of fertilizer, the number of bags that you're having. Okay, that is another register. So these registers is now what I'm calling data sets. So these registers or data sets, they need to be connected in some way. Okay, this fertilizer was distributed to who? How many bags? Like that. So there has to be a connection between the register of the farmers, the register of the fertilizers, and this transactional register, where we say, okay, Simon took 5 bags, so and so took. So we need to make sure we connect these 3 registers, or what we call data sets. Okay, so that now, before we visualize our data is properly connected or is making sense. There is some relationship between the data sets or the registers. Okay, very important. So you said the first step, data collection. The second step, data transformation. The third step, modeling and visualization. And then lastly, you can now prepare dashboards and reports. Okay, you can prepare dashboards and reports. Once you visualize your data, you can now go ahead and now share these information to people. That's where there's something that is now out there in the market, storytelling, data storytelling. So once you've modeled your data, you've visualized your data, so the last part is to now tell people a story, give people an account of that particular data. Okay, so that is more of like the process, and each and every activity that involves data should at least go through that process: collection, analysis, like that. Okay, you should be able to get through that particular process. So the other thing I want to talk about is now the tools. So which tools are there? For example, in data transformation, which tool do we have? So there's a very interesting tool. We call it the Power Query tool. And I think Philip mentioned it. He mentioned Power Query, Power Pivot. So there's an interesting tool called the Power Query Editor. Okay, the Power Query Editor. So the Power Query Editor, it's a very powerful tool that is inbuilt in Excel that is supposed to help you to clean the data. Okay, it's supposed to help you to clean the data. Now, so where do we get it? If you go to Data tab, okay, if you go to Data tab, here where we have Get and Transform Data. You see this group? Get and Transform Data. So this is the group where we have commands that will help us to transform the data that we have. We have collected the data. So now we want to transform the data. We prepare it for further analysis. So this group will help you to do that. And so to launch that Power Query, and I just want to launch it so that you can see. Where you have get data, if I click on the down arrow button here, you can see a number of commands. But there's a command here saying launch Power Query editor. Launch Power Query editor. Remember, we are still in step number 2, where we want to transform the data that we have collected. We want to transform the data that we have collected. So launch Power Query editor. So if I click on it, look at what will happen to my screen. So sort of like a new software will pop up. Just a minute. I was talking to an accountant, I think a week ago, and he told me, I've used Excel for almost 20 years, but I've never come across this Power Query thing. Okay, so he was asking, what is it used for? So that tells you that there are so many hidden tools and that really can help. So the Power Query editor, here it is. So this Power Query editor, it is used for data cleaning, data preparation. You want to create new data sets. This is the tool that you use. Okay, so we are going to see how to use it. So this is the Power Query editor. It is used for what? For data transformation. After you've collected your data, and remember, data collection does not have to be you go to the intercept survey. You don't need to use a questionnaire. Sometimes you might get data that is already collected. So now the next step now is to transform that particular data. So transformation, you can create new columns, you can delete the data. Remember we said constructive. I had mentioned constructive to create new data. Then there's another, we call it destructive. You delete unwanted either columns or rows, destructive kind of transformation. And then lastly, we have the aesthetics kind of transformation, okay? To enhance the appearance, to enhance the formatting, like that. So all these are transformation. And the tool that can help you to do this is the Power Query editor. Sometimes it might look scary to look at it, especially if you look at the word queries. You know what are now queries, but it is a very easy to use tool, which I'm going to demonstrate in a very few minutes. Okay, so that is the Power Query editor. You can see it has one key tab here in this Power Query. There's one key tab, Home tab, Transform tab. This is the main tab. Like this is the ultimate tab. It has one tab that is important, or that is key, the Transform tab. So we're going to explore this one in a few minutes. So let me close it. So that is the Power Query editor in step number 2. Okay. So and then we've gone to step number 3. We've said now we need to model the data. We need to create relationship between the data and create connections so that we can visualize the data. Okay. Now, when you want to create relationships between different data sets, or what I was terming in a layman's language, registers. If you want to create relationships between the registers, okay, there's another tool called the Power Pivot. The Power Pivot. Okay, so the Power Pivot will help us to model the data. Okay, in simple terms, modeling is connecting different registers. Okay, so to model the data, we will use the Power Pivot. And how do you get the Power Pivot? Still again, Data tab. On your right-hand side, we have Data Tools, the Data Tools group. There's a command here. There's a green command here. Okay, so make sure later on you check if your Excel has these. And if you find maybe your Excel has an issue, you can always reach out and we give you the support. Okay, so of course at no cost. So there's the green command here, data. You can see if I hover my mouse on top of it, it is saying data model. Data model. Let me click on the down arrow button next to it. And then, so there are a number of items here, but what I'm interested is this one, the first one, manage data model. Okay, and you can see it is saying, go to the Power Pivot window. Okay, add and prepare data or continue working on data already in this workbook. Okay, so what happens is that it will help you to model your data. And on the same area, you can perform now what you call the data analysis. Okay, you can use what you call data analysis expressions. So they're like formulas. They're actually formulas. Okay, but now they work with columns. So which we are going to see. So if I click on the manage data model, so I want us to see the window, the Power Pivot window. Here it is. So this is the Power Pivot window. Okay, so don't confuse it with Power Query. Power Query is different from Power Pivot. So there's Power Query for the data transformation, then there's Power Pivot for modeling and analysis. So this is the interface. We have the home, we have design, we have advanced. They have very simple and very minimal tabs. The main ones are here under home, a number of things we can do from here. Under the design, we can be able to do some calculations using functions. We can add new columns. So there are a number of interesting things we can be able to do. There's another interesting thing we call marking a table as a date table. So very interesting, especially if you have data that you want to present in terms of quarters. You have a column which has dates, and then those dates you want to transform them either into quarters or into years or into weeks. So it is something that can really come in handy. So we're going to use at least a bit of this, just an introductory bit, so that you can be able to understand the powers that are hidden in Excel. So this is the Power Pivot window, okay? And we have said it is used for what? Creating relationship. You can see here, create relationship, manage relationship. As I was saying, the whole idea of modeling is to make sure that your data sets or your registers have a clear relationship with each other before you can now visualize it. So that is the Power Pivot window. Let me close it. Now, I don't want to talk about anything else. You know, sometimes when you say too much, you might actually lose people. So I've talked about two things. Data collection. So we collect the data. Either we are given files that have data, or we can go and collect data on our own. That is number one. So we can use other tools for data collection. Number two, we have data transformation. So data transformation, we have said in Excel, you can use what? The Power Query editor. And then after transformation, we now go to data modeling and visualization. And in that case, we use what? The Power Pivot. Now, how do you do it? You know, what I've said is what we need to do. I've talked about the tools. So how do you go about it? I want to show you the easiest way to work with the Power Pivot and the Power Query. Okay, I've seen so many videos on YouTube, and I also watch YouTube just to learn, to keep up to date. It is good. Make sure you, on a daily basis, you watch videos, learn things. Though I've seen there are people online, sometimes they mislead people. So the best place to go and learn is Microsoft Learn. That at least that platform is good. Then watch other videos, get into masterclasses, get into classes. That will come in handy. So I want to show you my method. Remember, as a consultant, I meet a lot of data. I meet a lot of data, a lot of company data. I interact with so much data. Sometimes I don't sleep even for 2 days. Just working with it. That's how interesting data is. You have a problem and you have to sit there for like 3 hours just thinking, how can I? You try, it doesn't work. You try, it works. Then when you try to implement, you realize, no, there's something here that did not work. You go back again. There are things that I was given as an assignment that took me actually 1 week. So that is the interesting bit about data analysis and analytics. There's always something new to explore. Okay, so I want to show you the simple process, step-by-step process on how I normally sort out these problems. The procedure, so that next time when you get data in an Excel, you can be able to know how to go about it. Remember, we are still sticking to our main goal. We want to know the roadmap. Where do we start? Okay, do we start with Excel? Do we start with Power BI? Do we get into VBA? I mean, where do we start? Okay, good. So, but let us learn this one. So, what I've done to make this as practical as possible, I've shared the link. Let me share it again so that in case you are following through, you can be able to also try it. But remember, you can also try later on. It is still very much okay. So I've shared that link so you can be able to. So if you click on this particular link, it will take you to practice one. So this is just simple data sets that I've created. Very simple data set, easy for you to understand. When you're trying to learn something, don't complicate with large data sets. I don't know, there's always that thing. When you're trying to learn a new skill with large data set, I don't know why it never sinks in. But when you use a small data set to learn, it becomes easy so that when you meet the larger data sets, then you can now be able to sort out the issues. So what I've done, I've created a folder here, practice one. So if you open it, you'll find we have three files. So you can download these files. Either now or later on, because we're going to record, and of course you can follow through later on. So when you want to download, you can download one by one and then save them in a folder. Call that folder practice one. So click on the three dots on the right hand side, and then you say download. So to avoid errors, don't double click on the folder. If you double click on the file, it will open using Google Drive, and of course you'll not be able to access it as required. So download it, download all the three files, have them somewhere on your desktop as practice one. So I want to use these three files for the purposes of the demonstration now. Okay, so we will do for the Excel, then we'll take a break, then we'll come and talk about the Power BI, and then now we conclude. And then now we talk about the other add-ins that are there, and then now we conclude. We now make a conclusion. So we determine what is what. So for those who are downloading, you can click on the link, go and download, have them somewhere. For me, I already have them here. Practice one. So that is the folder. So you can, if I open it, you'll see I have dataset 1, dataset 2, and dataset 5. So dataset 1 and dataset 2 are Excel files. And then dataset 5 is a PDF. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this in a short while. So for those who are downloading, download. Again, click on the link. It will take you here. Then click on the three dots at the far end, and then click on download. So make sure where you're storing them, you store them in a folder. Have them together, okay, so that it becomes easy for us to use them. Okay. So download for those who are working together with me. For those who are following through, make sure you take notes. You can repeat this later on. Good, so I hope you've managed to download the file. Just to check, I don't know if Jonathan, Leanne, you're here. Okay, so I think we will need to add Jonathan, Leanne. I think Blackstone, you can add Jonathan. You can share the details to the meeting. I've seen his request. So I hope you've been able to download. Now, so once you download these files, and this is like the best practice. This is my best practice on how to approach this. when I started teaching Excel and Word and PowerPoint, I started teaching with 2010. So especially for the international programs and the Microsoft programs, there's so much restrictions when it comes to understanding best practices. How are things supposed to be done? So this is my best practice when it comes to working with these. So let us explore dataset 1. Let us explore dataset 1 together. So dataset 1, so it has that. You can see we have the date column. So these are sales transactions. These are sales transactions. We have the date column. We have the salesperson hyphen amount. Then we have item receipt number. So from the look of things is that it's like column B, there's an error. Column C, there's also an error. Sometimes when you export data from systems, sometimes they export, most of them export through Excel. Sometimes you'll find such errors. Okay, you'll find, for example, here, salesperson and amount columns, they were somehow merged. Item and receipt number, they were somehow merged and put into one column. Sometimes you'll find even cells are merged. You'll find funny reports when you extract either from these accounting tools or any other tool. So you can find such an issue. Okay, so this is now what we need to clean. Or this is just an example of data that requires what? Cleaning. Okay, just an example of data that requires cleaning. So so that is dataset 1. Let us look at dataset 2. So if I open dataset 2, so dataset 2 has 3 worksheets. So dataset 2 as a workbook has 3 worksheets. Has 3 worksheets. The first one is dataset 2. The second one, dataset 3, and then the last one, dataset 4. Okay. So again, there are some issues here that maybe you might not be able to see. So the Power Query will help us to see if there are any issues, and then if there are any issues, we are going to resolve them using the Power Query. Okay. So these are the 3 worksheets. Let us open the PDF. So if you open the PDF, so you can see again, we have some items here, country manager, revenue target. Again, we are going to have this loaded to our Power Query and see if there is any issue. Okay. So basically what happens is you might have data from different sources. You might have data coming from a PDF. Maybe there's a publication that normally, a publication that's normally released every 3 months. And that publication is normally in PDF and it is stored somewhere, maybe in a website or something. Okay. And in that PDF, there's like a table that has data that you are really interested in, that you'd want to pick and analyze. Okay. So we can get data from there. Maybe it can be a website that has maybe some statistics, some data that is normally updated every now and then. You might want to pick that data and analyze it. Okay, so Excel will give us that opportunity to connect to any kind of data in PDF, in Word, in SQL. I mean, all the areas that we would want. For example, we are limited. We are going to only connect to Excel, dataset 1 and 2. These are just Excel files, and then a PDF file. But remember, you can do more. You can connect to a website, so that anytime the website changes, also your data does what? Reflects. Very interesting. Now, so we have investigated that and we've seen it is okay. Now, when you want to clean your data, this is what you do. Create a new Excel document. Let me close this one. So here, create a new one. Go and say new Excel document. Then rename it to cleaned and transformed data. You rename it to what? Cleaned and transformed data. Okay, so you see we have a new document here, cleaned and transformed data. So you have maybe the data set 1, 2, data set 5, a website. What else? It can be an SQL server. It can be an Access file, maybe a text, a CSV file. It can be any kind of file. So what you do, regardless of where your data is stored, make sure you create a new workbook and you call it what? Cleaned and transformed data. So what we want to do, we want to get all the data that we want to analyze. We clean it and we put it in a central place. Okay. So let me open cleaned and transformed data like that. So this is a blank workbook. Okay. This is a blank workbook. Remember the name is what? Cleaned and transformed data. Okay. So let us start with the first group of file that we want to clean. So the first one is the dataset 1. The dataset 1 that is in Excel. So what we'll do, we'll go to Data tab. We'll go to Data tab. Then in the first group, Get and Transform Data, we click on Get Data. Okay. And then we click on Launch Power Query Editor. Remember that process? So you open the Launch Power Query Editor. So you'll have it like that. So here it is. Okay. So now we have created a new workbook and we've called it Cleaned and Transformed Data. Okay. We have launched a Power Query Editor. So what we need to do now is to add the data that we want to clean. And how do we do that? In Home tab, in the far end, so remember this is Home tab for the Power Query. In the far end, we have new source, recent source, enter data. Okay. So what you need to do, just go here where we have new source, click on the down arrow button, and you'll see a number of options. That's what I was saying. You can get data from so many areas. For our case, we only have an Excel file and a PDF file. So that's what we are going to use. So that was
Excuse me.
Yes, sorry. Yes, Edwin?
If I don't have that option on my Excel, how should I retrieve it?
Oh, which Excel version are you using?
16.
Oh, 16. So there's a way to set it. You do not have which option? The new source.
Actually, I don't have the
Power Query.
Power
Okay.
Queries.
Okay. I know there's let me do this because I know it is a process to go and check and to activate the add-in. Let me finish. Then once we go to break, I'll be able to check with you and see if there are any settings we need to put. Okay. But I know 2016 is it's an older version, so maybe also an upgrade would be important. So file. So now, as I was saying, you go to Home, the last group here, New Source. You just hover your mouse on top of File, this one, and then you click on Excel Workbook, because where we've stored our data is in an Excel workbook, dataset 1, the one that is having some issues. So let me click on Excel, like that. Then where have I stored? So I have stored mine on the desktop, here. So practice 1, so dataset here. So you have to go up to where you have stored your data, and I click on dataset 1. Then you see, the word here is what? Import. So when we are saying import, it does not mean we are copying data and pasting it in Power Query. No. The import here is we are creating a link to the source of the data. Okay, so this import here, what will it do? It will create a link to the data. Okay, so if I click, look at what will happen. It will import. You see, please wait as we establish a connection to the data set. So we are creating a connection and not really copying and transferring the data. Okay, so once you've clicked on there, so what normally happens, this navigator pane will appear in case you have multiple worksheets for you to be able to choose which worksheet to have as your data. So in our case, we only have one worksheet, so which is sheet 1. So I'll click on it, and then I can be able to see the preview here. And you can see we have a number of errors here. We have the first error that we could see visually, where salesperson and amount have been combined, and then item and receipt also have been combined. And then we have some other errors that we could not see. We have some unnecessary extra columns, and there are some duplicates. We can't tell if they are duplicates or not. So there are some errors with this particular worksheet. Okay, so if I'm satisfied, this is the data that I want in sheet 1. So I make sure I select it, then I click on OK. So processing queries, so you'll see, good. So let me maximize this document so that we can see properly. Okay, so the Power Query, we have now done what? We have now linked this Power Query to dataset 1. But remember, this Power Query, we opened it through what? Through the document that we called cleaned and transformed data. We opened this Power Query through cleaned and transformed data. Then we have connected it to dataset 1. Okay, so maybe the question before I proceed is, what is a query? What is a query? Because now we are seeing here queries. You can see on my left-hand side, we have sheet 1, then queries. So what is a query? So for me, when just to explain it in a very simple terminology, a query is like a mirror. When you look at yourself in a mirror, of course you see your reflection. But in a real mirror, you cannot edit. You cannot edit yourself from the mirror. You can only see yourself. So the query is like a mirror. We are having a reflection of the data, but interestingly, we can modify the reflection. I don't know if that makes sense. So this is a mirror, but we can edit the reflection without editing or without tampering with the source. Okay. So it's like you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You can modify yourself. You can add maybe an extra ear on the reflection, but you're not tampering with yourself. So that is what the queries do. They sort of like reflect the data source, and then on the query, you can now play with the query. Okay, you can remove some columns like that. You can do some other things. So what we are seeing here in a layman's language is like a reflection of the data. But remember, we can delete some of the columns here. But if we delete this column, it does not mean we have deleted dataset 1. No, dataset 1 is still intact. Okay, good. So so this is the query. So the query that we have here is sheet 1, and we can adjust this query to our likings. So let us do some cleaning kidogo. So I'll rename this worksheet. So to rename the query, remember it picks the name of the worksheet, sheet 1, which is in dataset 1. So I can rename it. Let me rename it to dataset 1. Okay, dataset 1. So you can rename it from this other side. You can see here query settings on the right-hand side. So you can change the name from sheet 1 to. So if I type dataset 1, then tap enter, you can see it updates the name of the query. Okay, and then down below we have applied steps. So interesting thing about the Power Query, it does not have undo and redo. So once you do something, it's either you cancel whatever you've done, you do it again afresh. So you can see here I've changed the name. So the steps are supposed to appear here. Okay, so whatever you do to the data, those steps will appear here. Okay, so if I want to remove a step, I just cancel that particular step. So which you are going to see in a few. Now look at the salesperson and amount here. This one. We might need to split this. We might need to split this. So of course that is important. We need to clean by splitting this data. So if you look at Home tab in the Power Query, there's a split command here. Interestingly, if you're used to working with Excel without the Power Query, you can only find this command here. We call it the text to column command. That is the only limit you can get if you're not using Power Query. But if you're using Power Query, you can see the number of items here that you can use to do what? To split your data. Okay. So the first one by delimiter, it means your data is combined using a certain delimiter, maybe a certain character, either a hyphen, a comma, a space, something like that. So in our case, the data is connected, or we want to split it where the hyphen is. So we are going to use what? By delimiter. Yes. Remember, I've selected, let me cancel and start. I've selected the entire column. I've clicked here to select the entire column. Then I go to Home, here under Transform, Split Column. So I want to split the column into two parts so that I can see the names of the salesperson and the amount they were able to sell. So here I choose by delimiter. Okay. So the delimiter, automatically it will sense the kind of delimiter that is there. So which is the hyphen. Okay. And then there are some options here at each occurrence, right, left. So left means if you have many hyphens, it will only consider the left one, the first one on the left hand side, the first one. That is the one that you will consider for splitting. If you choose right, if you have so many hyphens within, maybe, for example, it is Mary hyphen 3663.75, then another hyphen, then something else. If you choose right, it will consider the rightmost what? A hyphen. At each occurrence, it means data will be split anywhere there is a hyphen. Okay. So in our case here, we can just choose maybe leftmost delimiter. Okay, leftmost delimiter. Let me click on OK. You see. So you can see we are now in the process of transforming data. We are transforming it so that we can be able to use it for analysis. Okay, so we have split the names of the salespeople, and we have split it from the amount. Then we can rename. So we can right click and we say rename. And then we rename this to salesperson. And then enter. And then we rename this to amount. Okay. So like that. Okay. So so we've been able to split salesperson and amount. Very nice. Then on this other side, we have item and receipt. So if you're using Excel plainly without the Power Query editor, this is something you'd not be able to do. You can't split. You can see electronics 1004, cards 1770. There are no delimiters. But the good thing is that with the Power Query, you can select this, then go to split column, and then you can choose this command, non-digit to digit. This command will separate text and numbers. There's so much you can explore with the Power Query. Okay, so let me rename this one. Rename it to item. Enter. And then this one we rename to receipt number, like that. So you see, we have now cleaned our data. We have now the date column, we have the salesperson column, we have the amount, we have the item, we have the receipt number. But we realized we have some extra columns that we were not able to see when we were using the Excel. So we now need to remove these columns. Okay? So there are two ways in which you can remove unnecessary columns in your file. So one, you can remove one column at a time, or you can remove many columns at a time. So if you're removing one column at a time, you just need to select it, Home tab in the Power Query. Here, under the Manage Columns group, you click on the down arrow button, and then you choose what? Remove columns. I think you can see the other command there, remove other columns. If you click on remove other columns, you will remove everything that you have not selected. So meaning you're only going to retain column 4 that you have selected. But if you choose remove columns, you're going to remove what you just selected, okay? So let me click on remove columns. So that is when you want to remove one column at a time. You use that process. But when you want to remove multiple columns at a time, you can use this command here, choose columns. So it is just next to remove columns. Click on choose columns, then click here, choose columns. So it will give you this dialog box. So sometimes you'll find you have so many columns that you may want to remove. So what you'll do, you will unselect everything, then you choose what you just need. Okay, so even if you have 40 other columns, what is going to be retained is only what? These 5 columns. So that is the choose columns. You remove all the other columns by only selecting what you want to retain. So then I click on OK. Like that. So you can see now we do not have unnecessary columns anymore in our query. Okay, remember we've said this is a what? Is a query. We are not modifying the dataset 1. The dataset 1 is still intact. It is still intact. So we are just querying that information. Then, so now we do not have any other issue in this particular query. Now, the last thing that you need to do anytime you clean your data, the last step, you can see here the steps have been counting themselves on the right-hand side. The last step that you need to do is to remove duplicates. So even if your data does not have duplicates, just remove the duplicates. How do you do it? Select the first column, then Control All, Control A. Hold on to Control key and press on A. Control A. You control all. Then Home, where we have reduce rows. Here, remove rows. There's a command saying remove rows. Click on the down arrow button, and then look for remove duplicates. So click remove duplicates. So if there are any duplicates, and when I talk about duplicates, I mean entries or records that are exactly the same, okay, will be, one of the records will be removed. But if there are 2 records, but there's only just a small disparity, those records are going to be retained. Okay, so whether you have duplicates or not, always do what? Remove the duplicates. Why am I saying this? So that in the source document, if somebody adds an extra, or if somebody adds duplicated information, when you refresh your query here, it will automatically do what? Remove those duplicates. It will automatically remove those duplicates. Okay.
Simon.
Yes.
What now happens?
Yes.
If you have those duplicates. Because duplicates means you remove one, you retain another one.
Yes, yes.
And I want to keep the duplicate somewhere else.
You want to?
Maybe for example, if someone who have duplicated data,
yes, yes,
I want to know those data. which have been duplicated.
Or you want to
On
know?
that,
Yes, yes.
on option, where can I see them?
Yes, yes.
For example, if it's very light data.
Yes, yes. Or you want to see what has been duplicated, eh?
Yes, or I set aside those duplicated values.
Yes, yes. Actually, today, the person I was teaching also asked the same question. Can you do it the way we do it in Excel? You know, in Excel, you can use conditional formatting. In the worksheet. On the worksheet, you can use the conditional formatting to highlight the duplicates. Eh? So the question was, is there any technique to highlight duplicates on the Power Query? So that was a question. So from me exploring this particular Power Query, I have not come across where you can put color. You know, the only way you can do is either put color or not it. Okay. So far I've not come across any. Remember, this is transforming data. So we want to transform the data. We want to either delete, add, like that. But if you want to highlight the duplicated data, you can use conditional formatting. Then you use what we call the advanced filter command. So the advanced filter command can filter what is duplicated. So maybe that is something, a different technique that would really work. Okay. But for the Power Query editor, so far, with the way I've explored a number of, actually almost all the commands I've explored them. I've not come across something that can highlight and say this is a duplicate, that is not a duplicate. No. So its work is to make sure that when you are visualizing data, you do not visualize or sum data that is repeated. Okay. For example, if you have sold sports goods worth 2570, there'll not be another entry of 2570 of Mary selling sports goods on the same date with the same receipt number. So that will not be there, because if it is there, then it means either your total calculations will be high. If you're going to do sum of the amount, your totals are going to be high. Okay. So let me do. I know I want us to take a break. I want to show you the last item. Let me see. I don't know if it is a message that has entered. Let me just see. Okay, I had seen. I don't know if it is a hand that was raised, but anyway, it's okay. Or was there a question or comment? Okay, good. So the last thing is, yes, Philip.
Sorry, I'm in a kind of a messy place.
Yes.
I wanted just to also give an idea.
Yes.
On the question about
the duplicates.
Or something.
Yes.
I think there's a newly introduced feature. It's not really new. But for those who have been in the other world of data, like SQL, Microsoft also has brought in the concept of joins.
Oh, okay.
So the concept of joins within Power Query there. Although that where I am, I'm not able to demonstrate because I'm just watching on a phone. I don't know. Probably I'll see if I can demonstrate it for you on the other platform, and then you can share with the questioner.
Yeah.
There are 9 join types. So depending, especially depending on what kind of duplication you wanted, and duplicate that table and then join them so that there is the outer left join, the outer right join, the center join. There are various 9 to be precise.
Okay.
They are fairly new in Microsoft are keeping on adding.
Oh, they keep on adding.
You can probably we can research more on that so that next time we can share on that.
Yes, I think
It really helps in reconciliations like back reconciliations or ledger reconciliations.
also where we have
there's that concept. So probably we can research further into that.
Yeah. So I think thank you for that, Philip. Though I know you're in a noisy place, but from what you've had, there's, of course, they keep on adding new things. There's something I had seen. What Philip is talking about, but now that requires another level of data transformation. But on the document itself, as you've heard, you may not, but there are other techniques. You can use the source itself, or you can use the join and the pass. There are some tools. So I didn't want to go into that so that I don't derail so much and take people off track. And so for those who are very new to Power BI or the Power Query, so that they don't go off track. But there are some tools you can use to be able to it is more of a part of transformation. So you create a duplicate data set, then you work on that particular data set. There's something we call pivoting, there's the join. So I think there's something we are going to look at then. We'll share that that process. I hope Edwin, that one is okay with you. Okay, good. So I was saying, it is always a good practice. Anytime you have cleaned your data, the last process, make sure you do what? You remove the duplicates. So whether the data has duplicates or not, even if it is a small data set, just make sure you do what? You remove the duplicates. This will come in handy so that in case somebody adds or adjusts the data source, anytime you refresh your query will always have a clean what? A clean data. Okay. So the last step here, always make sure is remove duplicates. Okay. Remove duplicates. Now, so once you have cleaned your data, what do you do next? What do you do next? You go to Home tab. You go to Home tab, where we have Close and Load. Here, there are two options. There are two options: Close and Load, and then Close and Load 2. Okay. So Close and Load, it will take this query and add it as a worksheet in the cleaned and transformed data workbook. Then Close and Load 2, it will give you an opportunity to choose where you want to specifically store this particular query. Remember, we load to the Power Query, we clean, then we take it back to the Excel. So let us see how that will happen. So if I click Close and Load, look at what will happen. So remember, this is the cleaned and transformed what? Data. The cleaned and transformed data. And you can see here, the name that we had created, dataset 1, is now the name of the worksheet. So this particular worksheet is still connected to dataset 1. Okay, so let me minimize it. Here. So this one, dataset 1. So this dataset 1 is now, it is the data that is here in dataset 1. We have connected to it. We have, it's like we have a reflection, but now a cleaned reflection. So this reflection, we can still work with it, do some analysis like that. Okay. So that is cleaned and transformed data. That is how you now officially now load it to Excel. Okay. So that is it. That is it. That's how you work with it. That's how you use the Power Query editor. Yes, the Power Query editor. Okay. I don't know if there's a question up to there. Maybe we can take a small break, a small breather, so that now we can now come and talk about Power BI. So whatever we've done, can we now be able to do it in Power BI? So which one is easier? Which one is more friendlier? Okay. So this is just a demo. So what you can do actually, you see now we have dataset 2. Yeah, dataset 2, and then you have dataset 5. You can add all that data to the Power Query editor, clean it, then load it here. Okay. So once you clean it, then you load it here, then you'll be able to now link and join the data sets, and then now visualize that particular data. Okay. So for today, I want us to see which one is easy. Okay. Which one is easy? Is it the Excel or is it the Power BI? Which one is easy when it comes to loading that data and transforming it? So which one is easy? That is what I want us to see. And then now we'll talk a bit more about these particular tools. And if you were to start them, which one would you start with? Or because now this one can do what this one can do, does that mean I can do one and avoid the other? So we need to answer those questions, and we should do that after the break. So we'll take like a 10 minutes break. Then when we come back, we'll not spend so much time on this, so that now we look into Power BI. Okay, we look at Power BI. So remember, we are just testing. We look at Power BI, then we come and now discuss which is what, which one do you start with, okay, and what you can be able to do, okay. And then, as I mentioned on the poster, we will have a test, okay. We may not be able to do it today because of time, but we'll have a test. This test will be a 30 minutes timed test. So if you want to gauge yourself in terms of Excel, we'll have a test that you can do, a very simple test. So then it will be able to give you where you currently score at, and then that can guide you into what you know and what you need to do. What you know and maybe what step you need to take. So I think we can stop at that, so that when we come back after the break, we talk about Power BI. So just only 10 minutes break, we come back to Power BI. In case there's a question, feel free to use the chat box so that we can be able to answer those questions at the end of this particular masterclass. And thank you so much, Philip and Edwin and the rest. Make sure you put in your contribution. If you know something, add it. Sometimes maybe due to time, I'm trying to restrict it. But if you have something that you want to share so that we can all learn together. Okay. So thank you. It is 8:19. We take a 10 minutes break. We'll be back here at 8:30. Okay. So good. Thank you. Let us meet back in the next 10 minutes. So we can now proceed. We can now proceed with the last bit of the masterclass. So I hope you can hear me. I hope you're able to hear me. So, so we've touched a bit on how we clean and transform the data using the Power Query Editor. And I had also mentioned that you can also use the Power Pivot for the purposes of modeling and analyzing the data using the data analysis expressions. Now, I want to shift to Power BI. We see whatever we've done, we see if we can be able to do the same thing in Power BI and how fast or how the process will look like. So let me close this one. I'll save and close that one. Let me open Power BI. So Power BI is a free desktop tool. So we have Power BI desktop, we have Power BI service, and we have the Power BI mobile and other applications in Power BI. Okay, so these particular tools can really help you when it comes to just connecting data, modeling, visualizing, and creating dashboards. So I just want to launch the Power BI. I had already downloaded it. So because it takes time to download, you can just go online and say Power BI Desktop Store. Power BI Desktop Store, and then you can be able to download it directly from the Microsoft Store. Remember, it is free and there are no cost to it. So let me search the one that I already have, Power BI. So this one. So this is Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is the one that I'm talking about. So let me open it. We see how it looks like. I hope you can be able to hear me. In case there's an issue, let me know. Okay, thank you, Nancy. So the Power BI interface is also an interesting interface. So for me, what I see is, Power BI started back in 2014. By 2017, that's where now it had, caught momentum. Right now, 2025, already now this tool has already really grasped the market. So it is something people have already accepted, and it is something now people are really, really using. So this particular tool, Power BI Desktop, let me click on the blank report so that you can see. So this is the interface. This is the Power BI interface. Somehow, the classical Excel or the Microsoft interface, very simple to use, easy to understand commands. So that is the technique that has been used. But it has a very interesting interface. So as I was saying, sometimes I feel like the Power Query, the Power Pivot, all those tools that were inbuilt in Excel, they were all brought here together, okay, and made a bit simple, okay. For example, whatever we have just done, we got the data, then we transformed it. In Power BI, to do that, on the Home tab here, we have Get Data, okay. So again, a number of sources you can be able to get the data from. So if I click Excel workbook, it will take me to where the dataset 1 is. Okay. So remember, dataset 1 is the one that had issues. Columns were combined that needed separation. So if I open that, so you see, please wait as we establish connection. So the same thing that was happening when we were using Power Query directly in what? In Excel. Okay. So the same navigator dialog box also appears in Power BI. So again, you can see the errors that we were able to see. They're still presented here. The column, the empty columns, column 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So if I'm satisfied, I'll check on the worksheet that I want. Then I load the data. Okay. Okay. So it is loading the data. So remember, we are just creating a connection to the data source. We are creating a connection to the data source. We are not actually importing. We're not copying and pasting data from dataset 1 to Power BI. No, we are just linking. Remember, we have already linked it using that workbook, cleaned and transformed data workbook. So we are now going to link again to that dataset using the Power BI. Okay. So for the Power BI, if you look on the right-hand side, we have sheet 1 here. So the interesting thing about Power BI is that you can see everything in front of you. So all the data that you're going to connect to, you're going to see them here on your right-hand side. Okay. If you want to create the relationships on your left-hand side, there's the model view. So it is like a very big working space. Okay. If you want to visualize your data, here in the middle here where you see build visuals with your data, you can visualize your data here. And actually it is very, very easy to use when it comes to visualizing the data. Okay. So you see now I've loaded the data, sheet 1. So if I was to transform the data, how would I do it in Power BI? Again, on the Home tab, in the Queries group, there is the command here, transform data. You see in Power BI, transforming data, there's actually a command that is directly telling you, click here to transform the what? The data. So it's a bit more friendly. So if I click transform data, transform, what does it do? It opens the Power Query editor. It opens the Power Query editor and adds that particular worksheet there automatically. So you don't need to go to add new source. No, you don't need to go here. New source, Excel workbook. No, it is already added. It's already added for you. So your work now is to just split and also maybe delete the columns the way I had shown you. Okay. So, and then once you finish, you come here, close and apply. So remember in Excel, it is close and load. Here it is close and apply because the Power Query here in Power BI, they're linked together. Okay, they're more linked together as compared when you're using it in Excel. So the Power BI becomes a bit more friendly. So if I click close and apply, in case there are any changes, any transformations that we have undertaken, then they will be affected to this particular data. So this data sheet, if I want to look at it, I change the view here to table view, and then I can be able to see all the content that is here. Okay, so it's an interesting tool. It's a very wide tool. Excel is also wide. There's so much we can be able to cover. Okay, but because of the short time that we have, we may not be able to get into each and every item. So I just wanted to demonstrate the Power Query and the Power Pivot. So in Power BI, there's no Power Pivot for modeling. When it comes to modeling, you have the model view, where now you can create your relationships. So it is like everything in one stop. Okay. So that is the interesting thing about Power BI. Everything is put together and it is simplified. It is simplified. So that is an interesting thing. Now, at least we've done something a bit on Excel and a bit of it in Power BI. At least you've seen the process. So you can try more. You can try on your own the other 3 documents. So normally what we do, in case you're stuck, you can just call me anytime, and I can be able to assist you on a one-on-one basis. Okay? Call me anytime, preferably in the afternoons. That's where now I normally handle such issues or any problem that you may have. Or you can even call me in the morning and see if I'm available. Then we sit down. So try loading the data, cleaning the data the way I've shown you, and then if this is something that you pick interest in, let me know so that we can work together. Okay? But make sure you go and reattempt whatever we've done, especially on the data set 1. Look at it, add it, then practice more. This is just to see if this is something that would excite you, okay, so that you can pick it up. Now, I do not want to take so much time. I'm saying it is already heading 9. So the next few minutes we'll be talking about 10 p.m. Now, in this masterclass, we said we are going to have a test. Okay, we are going to have a test. I know right now if I say start doing a test, people are already tired. So I would want people to take time, go and learn what you know about Excel, learn as much as possible, and then we are going to give you a link because we now have the details for each and every person. We're going to give you a link. It's more of like a self-test questions. Before end of Saturday, we'll have all the links. So we'll have intermediate, advanced, and then the Visual Basic. The Visual Basic, by the way, I didn't talk about VBA, but Visual Basic is just, again, another add-in like a Power Query or Power Pivot. So in Excel, it is used to automate repetitive tasks. But of course, you write a programming language. So it is also interesting. So we are going to create test for that, or we are going to share the test. And then if you feel, let me start with intermediate, you do it. If it gives you a score, you see, I'm getting 80, then you know, okay, intermediate, maybe I need to start at advanced. You now do the advanced test or assessment. If you again score anything above 80, 90, then you know, okay, maybe this area I'm good, maybe I need now to learn automation. And maybe go and talk about now Power BI, okay? Because for me, what I perceive is that you start with intermediate, you go to advanced Excel, then you go to Visual Basic, advanced Excel, then you go to now Power BI. Now the advanced Power BI. So whatever we've done is just the basics. So the advanced Power BI now covers each and, you go deeper, okay? You tackle each and every tool in this particular software, okay? So for me, that is the ultimate level. But of course, first of all, work on the advanced Excel. There was a question that I had received. Which one would you do and why? Okay. For me, I would say if you want to start your career in any data field, whether data science, data analytics, please start with Excel. Okay, start with Excel. The reason why I'm saying start with Excel, remember as I started, I said Excel can be used for data storage. Okay, you can use Excel for data storage and also data collection. So it is important you understand how to validate some of the data that is going to be captured. It is important you understand how you can regulate what data to be captured. And then Excel, if you do Excel, it will give you an opportunity to practice data analysis. So that when you come to Power BI, there are no formulas. In Power BI, there's what we call the data analysis expressions. You can see here, new measures, quick measure, these are analysis expressions. So there are no like functions, nested functions, there are no those things. But in an Excel worksheet, you can practice nested functions, you can be able to learn how to combine functions, you can solve real problems. So that in case where you only have access to Excel, you can still be able to do everything at a go. Okay, so Excel is still very, 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 very important. Okay, I don't know how I can stress on this. It is still very important. Okay, even as much as we are talking about automation, which is good, AI is really changing how we are looking at things. But remember, we said you cannot ask somebody to do something and you do not know what to ask. So you need to know what to ask. Okay, you need to understand the questions. And the best way is to understand what the AI is doing. Okay. Because even the AI, sometimes they have so many issues and challenges. Sometimes they do not give the correct results. So if you rely so much, if you rely on them heavily, you might end up not getting the proper outcomes. So it is important, even as we talk about AI, you can see even Power BI, they have AI here. On your top left, on the top right, you can see a Copilot. That is the AI for Power BI. So it is there. Actually, when you're writing data analysis expressions, it will help you to do that. So it's so we cannot avoid it, but we need to know if you're creating an expression, if you're creating a formula, if you're writing a function, this is how you put arguments. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Then now you can instruct and say, okay, AI, do this for me. So but already behind the scene, you already have a foundation of what needs to be done. So that is interesting. I've seen so many institutions training AI, which is good because people will now be able to understand how to use properly the AIs that are there. Okay, so bottom line, let us make sure to start us off properly. Let us start with Excel. Okay, if you feel Excel is still something I need to start from scratch, start with the intermediate program. Start with the intermediate program, then go to the advanced. Then if you want to really know how to automate, use the Visual Basic Language to automate Excel, then do the VBA Advanced Excel. Then ultimately go to Power BI. Okay. If you feel, no, I need to use the newer software, then you can go directly to Power BI. Okay. You can go directly to Power BI and learn how it is. So there's that part for Advanced Excel, and then there's the Power BI. Okay. Power BI, of course, is the ultimate tool because it is simplified, it is more modern, but we cannot forget our roots. Because if you have a tree without the roots, it is as not having the tree at all. So it is good we have our roots proper. Okay. So I think that is what I would say. And just to take you through maybe what we do, because I don't want to take much time. What I've said is we are going to share more materials and the recordings of what this session is all about. And then once we share the materials, you watch again, maybe you see the demonstration. Actually, we're going to record more videos so that you can be able to benefit more. Then we are going to share the assessments. So these assessments will help you to just test yourself and see where you currently are when it comes to the intermediate basic Excel. Okay, am I at 50%? Am I at 80%? So we normally use Microsoft Forms and then we time them so that you can now gauge yourself. So we'll test on the speed at which you can solve Excel problems, and of course your skills. Okay, the skills and the speed. So those are the two things that we'll test in intermediate, in advanced, in Visual Basic, and also in Power BI. So we'll be sharing those links. We'll start with the intermediate first, then Excel, then advanced, like that. So if you feel, okay, I need some assistance, then you'll be able to let us know. We assist you. Remember, as I've also said, I'm available. I'll share my number in case you do not have it. I'm available to assist you. It's free consultation. Anytime, just call me when you're doing your practice. You can let me know. We can have a one-on-one meeting, maybe a 30 minutes, 1 hour. We look at some few things. I guide you. Then you proceed with your work, so that we are able to help each other. So that it is not just a masterclass that we do and we forget it. No, we can give ourselves more time to learn. Just to answer some few questions, I think for the data analysis and AI, I've stressed, as much as AI is there, let us also still at least have the foundation on there and the basics. That is important. Again, for any career, any career. Actually, sometimes data scientists, most of them you'll find them handling the data using Excel. Okay, for the simple data, they just use Excel. Okay, so it is a good starting point for your career. For financial, I think Susan had mentioned something to do with financial modeling. So yes, this is very important. Creating financial models and any other kind of model, that is very much possible with the Power BI or the Excel. So depending on how you structure your data sets, there's a lot. We have not talked about what a data set is, different types of data sets, how you can structure the data sets, what is required when you're creating a data set. So there's a lot that is in the Power BI, okay? So modeling is possible, creating relationships, making sure you reduce unwanted data, like that. Even for those who handle projects, as I had mentioned, I work so much with people doing handling projects, project management. So one of the tools that they're really using is the Excel and the Power BI because it is simple. It does not require you to be a programmer to sit down and learn programming language. No, you can do almost everything using those simple tools, and you can achieve your results. So even with project management, you are able to achieve things a lot. So solution at D&D, I think I had displayed. Let me display the website for a moment. So what we've done at Broken Data is to make sure we have some training programs that can at least help when it comes to data. Okay. So remember, our specialization is documents and the data, and we have specialists. We have people who are very good at what they do. For example, data science, we have very good people who have already, people who are in the industry, people who are doing great things, who normally handle our classes. So it is not just a trainer who comes and trains. No, we have highly qualified people who are very specialized. For me, I've specialized in Excel financial items. There's somebody who has specialized in Excel, a different area. So we have people who are really specialized. So we have some programs. If you go to the website and click on data management and digital literacy programs, you can see here, if you scroll down, we have data science, data analytics. So again, this is another area. We are going to have another webinar very soon, where we'll be talking about data and AI. Okay, so we are going to invite some experts who are going to talk to us. We're going to be having people to tell us the difference between data science, research and data analysis, data analytics, like that. Because it is important so that once you move from this lower level, because as at now what we're talking about is intermediate Excel. So we have a program, intermediate, so that is something you can start with. If you're very sure Excel is not something that you use on a daily basis, please just start from intermediate. You learn how to work with functions, formulas, and such. Actually, to read more, you just need to click on intermediate on the website, and then you'll just be able to read what is expected, like that, whom it is intended to, and then at the end, you'll find a course outline, a training program outline. So that training program outline, if you open it, so it will show you the breakdown of what is to be covered. And so this applies to all the programs. So you can be able to read more and understand, so that before you make a decision, you are very sure of what is it that you're getting yourself into. Okay, so we have intermediate, we have advanced Excel. So we have intermediate, then we have advanced Excel, we have VBA advanced Excel, and then we have the advanced Power BI. The reason why we do advanced Power BI is because we always want somebody to start from the from the lowest level up to the highest level. Okay? By advanced, also we mean that it is going to be something that you can apply almost immediately. Okay, so there are those program offerings. You can read more on the website. We are going to share more materials, especially the recordings, together with the assessments. And then again, I'm available, very much available to assist you, especially this week and next week. I'm very much available in case you are trying to do something and you get stuck. You can let me know so that I can assist. So I think that is it. So in case you're interested in the classes, you can just reach out to the. I don't know if there's a number that called you to confirm if you're joining, but you can get the numbers on the website, the 0790, or you can just call me directly. Then I can be able to assist or give you guidance on the next upcoming classes or training programs. I think once you get into the full program, it is not as rushed as the master classes. So that one you go very slowly, bit by bit, every week, 3 classes, not much, only 3 classes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to prepare, to practice, to consult with the trainer. So that's how we do our training. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then the rest of the days is consultations, more practice, like that, so that at least you're able to grasp a lot in a shorter time. Okay, so and then also we also work with corporates. We have the corporate training side. So if you have a group of people whom we want to train, so we can also organize for corporate group trainings. I think that is important. I need to mention that. And and also the consultancy. Sometimes you have the data and you want somebody to assist you with that data. So we can also be able to do the consultancy. I don't know if there's a question. I'm seeing it is already 9. We started around 6:30. I said I promised some people we are going to do only 2 hours, but I'm seeing we are heading the 3rd hour. But it is okay, at least the little that we've been able to learn, add it to your mind, and make sure this learning does not stop. Reach out. I'm available. We have the trainers who are available. We have the classes that are available. We have expert trainers. The profiles of the trainers are always shared in advance so that you know who is teaching you. So that you don't get into a class and you know more than the trainer. That is unfortunate. Or the trainer does not know how to apply. I can sit here and show you how to use the tool. Like what we've done today with the masterclass. I've shown you how to use the tool. Important is how would you apply that tool. That is very important. So I think we can stop at that. Unless there's a question available to answer. I don't know if there's any question that you may have, anything that I might have forgotten. So the links, make sure you copy the links, but I'm going to share again via email the link for the practice materials so that you can do more practice. And then we're going to record another video to take you through. We did not finish the dataset 2 and 3. So the video that we're going to share, one is for this recording, and the second one is to take you through that particular process. So dataset 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in Excel and in Power BI, so that you can have like a lesson, and then now with the test. Okay. So I think that one will share as we move along. So thank you so much. I don't know if I've been able to meet your expectations. Maybe if I can get some feedback kidogo, then we can close. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. So I think we can stop it at that, unless there's anybody who has a question. Edwin, I think Edwin is the first one on my list. Any question, concern, or maybe something that you may want to, any final remarks? Thank you. Good, I know it is getting a bit late, so I think we can stop it at that. And thank you so much for joining this particular masterclass. I hope it has shared some light. Oh, and almost forgot it. There is a very interesting WhatsApp group that is managed by Philip. So normally, even for me myself, sometimes I post articles there on matters to do with data, the Excel. So I guess that is also a link that we need to share. So we will share that WhatsApp group link for the data analytics, and then in case you may join, there are other experts there. People share their views. It's like the community that I'm in the Microsoft community. Sometimes you find 50 people are looking for just one answer. Okay, so people discuss. So it is a very insightful platform. And we also have our own professionals group, our own alumni professionals group for doc and data. So again, these are groups you can join just to get feedback. You can hear what other participants have had from the previous training programs, and then so important. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your patience. I look forward to engaging with you more, and may you have a blessed weekend ahead. Thank you so much, and have a good night. Thank you.